Hi, I'm Tristan Campbell, brand ambassador at Chivas Brothers, and welcome to the Glenlivet Distillery. The Glenlivet dating back to 1824 when George Smith got the first license to distill here in the valley of the River Livet. So why not join me inside and we'll take a look at how we make Glenlivet single malt whisky. And this is Josie's Well, the water source for the Glenlivet Distillery. Very mineral rich source of water, and it's piped from here just down the hill to the distillery. This is the valley of the River Livet. You can see the mist forming there on the top of the hills, and this is the valley where up to 200 illicit stills were working in the late 1700s and early 1800s. Illegal distillers making their own whisky, mainly for their own use, and much of what was left over being smuggled down over the hills, through the valleys and into the towns and cities further south in Scotland. Very peaceful valley, nothing but the sound of the birds and me. And it's wonderful to think that every drop of Glenlivet, no matter where you're enjoying it, whether it's in Oslo, Trondheim, whether you're in Sydney, New York or London, every drop of that whisky which is in the Glenlivet bottle comes from this one distillery in this quiet valley in the north of Scotland in the region called Speyside. Every week, 1,146.6 tonnes of barley are delivered from burnt malt to the distillery here at Glenlivet. The intake just beside the duck pond, so whenever the truck goes, the ducks pop up and get whatever's left over on the ground. This is the Briggs mash tun here at Glenlivet, which gets through 13.5 tonnes of grist over a 3.5 hour period. You can see it sparging on at the moment. This is a full lighter mash tun, very efficient, and we have 2 of these on site. From the mash tun we take our worts, that sweet sugary liquid, into our washbacks, and we have 32 washbacks here at Glenlivet, each with a capacity for 59,000 litres of worts, and the fermentation period is 58 hours. After 58 hours we've got that wonderful sweet sugary wash, and that's around 8.5 to 9% alcohol. The still house at Glenlivet, incredibly tall wash stills, lantern shaped stills, a capacity for 15,000 litres of wash being distilled over 5 hours and 45 minutes. The low wines then being transferred over to the spirit stills, also incredibly tall. 9,500 litres of low wines going over to be distilled over 5 hours and 45 minutes, giving us new make spirit from Glenlivet. Spirit coming off the stills at Glenlivet at an average strength of 68% ABV. After distillation, we have the maturation period, which takes place over a minimum of 3 years in one of our maturation warehouses. Warehouse 1 is just out here. 3 years is the legal minimum. For illicit still, we are maturing our whiskies in oak casks for a minimum of 12 years. American oak and European oak casks being used to bring flavours of vanilla, sweet fruitiness, nuttiness and spice together. And this is the small still. This would have been what the illicit distillers were using in the valley of Glenlivet around 200 years ago. Very small, easily concealed and hidden, and produces a very small amount of spirit. This is a licensed small still, so this one is not illicit, this is legal. And we do run this still every year at the Spirit of Speyside Whisky Festival. So this gets some use. And the spirit produced from this small still is stored in the small still casks. Well, I hope you enjoyed this short tour of the Glenlivet with me, and I hope that you will pop back and visit yourself in person someday. Until then, please enjoy Glenlivet responsibly, and Slàinte mhath.